I got that.
That's what she sounded like.
Okay. Will you tell your story about your goat, Nanette?
Okay. I'd rather eat, but I guess I'll tell the story. So when I was about 14, we lived on 20 acres of property in Palmer, Alaska. We had collected several animals so we could have a farm, so to speak. It wasn't really a farm, it was just a bunch of little animals we collected. We had ducks, and we had chickens, and we had
Pigs?
rabbits. We did not have pigs. And we had turkeys.
What about horses?
Nope. And we had dogs, and we had a goat. And this goat, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure she had some problems mentally. And the reason why I say that is because of her strange behavior. Anyway, one time I was selected to feed the rabbits. Rabbits we kept them in a little hutch. There was 2 of them, so it was a female and a male, and they had these little hutches that were about 2 feet square, and they were back to back and separated with wire. So I was feeding the rabbits, and I turned my back, and Nanette, meanwhile, she was been kind of like milling around in the barnyard. We'd sometimes just let her out there so she could just kind of walk around, whatever. She went and jumped inside the one rabbit hutch. Now, the thing I didn't tell you before is that the rabbit was still in there. So you've got this rabbit, and its eyes are so big, and they're like white, like way scared. And here's Nanette. Her total focus was oblivious to that poor rabbit. She was in there eating the rabbit food, the little rabbit pellets in this little tiny container. The problem with that is that Nanette had these horns on her. Now, my dad had tried to protect us a little bit from her horns, didn't want to cut them off, so to make it humane, he took tennis balls and stuck them on the end of her horns. So that helped a little bit, but still, this huge animal, relatively speaking to the size of the hutch, is stuck in there. So when she discovers that she can't eat and run and back out of this hutch, she starts going crazy. That's what she sounded like. Something like that.
What'd she sound like?
Not exactly like that, but
What'd she sound like?
Yeah, more like that. That's kind of a sheep. So I had to figure out how I was going to get this goat out of there, and I think it took my brother and myself and maybe my dad had to help us get her out. But that was one story of Nanette. The other story, and there's multiple.
Wait,
What's
what
the-
about the one with the 2 goats? When they tried to escape?
Oh yeah, I can tell you that one too. But
Well, what's the spiritual thought with
the
that?
spiritual significance of this story, because you can always draw a spiritual conclusion about these temporal things that happen in life, is that we need to be careful because Satan is really good at trapping us. He gives us a little bit of food that looks super yummy. Like Nanette looked at those rabbit pellets and she thought to herself, oh my heck, those have got to be better than my oats any day of the week. And so he hands us this food, or he keeps us in this little area, and he's like, come on in, come on and eat these pellets. You'll love them, they're the best. And so when we get in there, what happens? Does Satan let us leave after he gets us in his clutches? No. So just like Nanette, who thought it was just perfectly fine to jump in there and grab some of these pellets in life.
How'd she jump in though? Yeah, seriously.
Well, she
Is
got
there,
half
like,
of
a
her.
hole in the
She
top?
got half of her body in. No, the one side came down so we could feed the rabbits. But so just like Nanette, in life we have to be careful of temptations.
Yep.
Because they can trap us.
What are some temptations?
What are some temptations, guys? What are some temptations you have? You have temptations possibly your friends are like, oh, let's go try smoking. Yes, totally. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
would
I
never
found
smoke.
these
can't even
cigarettes my
stand
dad
the
has. Let's
smell.
try these.
How about simpler, like
Or
I can't even
swearing.
stand the smell.
How about Minecraft that takes up all your
Yeah,
time?
or why don't you come over to my house and we'll play hours and hours and hours of video games.
How is that trapping you?
Because then I guess we can't leave.
No, it takes up our time.
Takes up the time that you
No,
can.
it's
Talk,
trapping
Daddy.
you. Satan is trying to trap you in some spot so that you can never get out and so that you can never do what your Heavenly Father wants you to do.
It's very
So,
true.
Daddy, look,
The
I put
example
a
that
horse
Daddy
over
is
there.
saying
Daddy, look, come this
is
way.
that if your friends invited you to do video games and video games,
Daddy,
Um,
I'm looking at you. Stop staring.
then we would never be able to go back to Heavenly Father.
Well, it would take up our time that we'd be able to
It pulls us
study
away
good
from
things.
Studying the scriptures. It pulls us away from building relationships with our families. It pulls us away from being able to listen to the Spirit,
Serving people.
serving people.
Because our mind is so focused on just Minecraft or
And in Daddy's talk
sports
today, I talked
or
about good, better, and best. So, wholesome entertainment is not wrong. And that's not the entrapment we're talking about. But we're talking about when it gets to the point where it takes up all of our time. And the only thing we can think about is entertaining ourselves. And when Mommy and Daddy ask, Owen, can you come help us do this? And all Owen can think about is entertaining himself. That's the kind of thing that Satan does for little kids.
Bottom of his body.
Mm-hmm.
the end. That's
The end.
good.